Hello everyone, and then welcome back to the lecture video session on the medium transmission line performance analysis of the medium transmission line. In the previous video sessions we have discussed about the end condenser method. Now we will move on to the next one, that is most important one, is the nominal T method. Nominal T method, in the nominal T method we consider the total line capacitance is lumped or concentrated at the center of the transmission line, where we are going to consider on either side of the transmission line we are going to consider the resistance and the inductance divided by 2. That is, a half of the values of the resistance and then the inductance is supposed to appear on either side of the capacitance. We have written the phasor diagram based on this equivalent diagram, which we are going to discuss and then find out that what exactly is the performance analysis says using the nominal T method for the medium transmission line. Now the corresponding phasor diagram is represented as shown in the figure. Here also we are going to consider the VR, that is the receiving end voltage, as a reference vector. Here we can observe that the current IS is at an angle of phi s, and then the IR is at an angle of phi r, and the summation of IR and IS will give us the total current IC, and that is a vector sum. And IR into R divided by 2 is the voltage drop that appears across the resistance of the one side line, that is in phase with the current IS. And again the inductive reactance drop, that is the IS into XL divided IR into XL divided by 2, looking from the receiving end. This is in parallel with this is in phase with the IR, and it is at an angle of 90 degree to the current that is flowing through 90 degree out of phase. So the summation of this is PR. Now let us consider the current IS that is flowing from the supply end. IS into R divided by 2 is the voltage drop that is across the one half of the resistance, that is from the supply end, and ISR by 2 is in phase with IS, and IS into XL divided by 2 is 90 degree out of phase from the IS. So the summation of this, the vector sum of these two, will give us the sum RT, and the total the voltage is, that is the supply end voltage, is the vector sum of the VR and then the summation of this PR and RT. Let's see that the OR is nothing but the V1, that is the voltage that is appearing across the capacitance C, and is the sum of this. So now after considering all this, we can write the expression to calculate the efficiency and the percentage voltage regulation. Here the receiving end voltage VR is taken as the reference. As I already said, the drop PQ represents IR into R by 2. The drop QR represents IR into XL by 2, which is leading the IR by 90 degrees. Therefore, the voltage across the capacitor V1 is the phasor sum of VR plus the phasor sum of PR and PQ and QR. Now the capacitor current IC leads V1 by 90 degrees. Now let's consider the IR is the receiving end current per phase, and the resistance per phase is R, inductive reactance per phase is XL, capacitance per phase is C, and cos phi R is the power factor at the receiving end, cos phi S is the sending end power factor, Vs is the sending end voltage, Vr is the receiving end voltage, V1 is the voltage across the capacitor. Now from the diagram itself we can understand that receiving end voltage is nothing but VR, which is taken as the reference vector, is nothing but VR plus J0. Load current IR is equal to IR into cos phi R minus J sin phi R. This is similar to the end condenser method. And voltage across the capacitor, here is the difference. V1 is equal to VR plus IR into Z divided by 2, because Z is the total impedance of the line. On either side we have got half of the like a half of the Z. Now VR is nothing but VR plus J0 plus IR into Z divided by 2, IR into cos phi R minus J sin phi R multiplied by Z divided by 2, that is V1 is equal to R divided by 2 plus JXL divided by 2. Now multiplied by this. So now we can consider that current through the capacitor IC is nothing but equal to XC into V1. That is, XC can be written as J into omega C into V1. That is, omega is nothing but 2 pi F into C. That is, omega is 2 pi F. So J into 2 pi F into C into V1. Now sending end current IS is nothing but So in the nominal T method, the capacitance is assumed to be existing at the midpoint, and then we are considering the sending end voltage Vs is equal to V1 plus Is into Z divided by 2. So from the figure 1, we can understand that Vs is equal to V1 plus Is into Z is nothing but R divided by 2 plus J into XL divided by 2. So Z divided by 2 is nothing but R divided by 2 plus J into XL divided by 2. Now percentage regulation is nothing but equal to Vs vector minus Vr divided by Vr into 100. Percentage efficiency is nothing but efficiency is equal to P divided by P plus 3 into I square R divided by 2 plus Is square. This is IR square R divided by 2 plus Is square R divided by 2 into 100. Because we know that the efficiency is nothing but equal to power delivered per phase divided by power sent per phase plus 3 times the losses. If it since it is a 3-phase line, we are going to consider it as 3 into I square R divided I square R. I square R is nothing but equal to the total line losses, which is 3 into I square R divided by 2 plus I square XL divided by 2 into 100. That is I square R divided by 2, that is IR square R divided into R divided by 2 plus Is square into R divided by 2 into 100. Now after analyzing the capacitance effect, considering it in the mid of the transmission line, we can consider the other method, which is called as nominal pi method. This is also known as the localized capacitance method, where we are going to consider the capacitance on either side of the transmission line by considering that half of the capacitance of the half of the line capacitance exists on either side of the transmission line. So here the capacitance is divided into two halves, that's why we can see that it is C divided by 2 on either side of the transmission line. And so C by 2 is assumed to be existing near the sending end, as well as the C by 2 is assumed to be existing near the receiving end. The complete arrangement is as shown in the figure 1. And the capacitor near the sending end does not contribute anything to improve the power factor of the line or anything towards the voltage drop, but it should be added to the line current to get the sending end voltage. But when we write the phasor diagram, we again consider the voltage at the receiving end VR as the reference vector, and ILR is the current that is flowing through this is considered to be the voltage drop in the R, that is the line current multiplied by R, is in phase with ILR is in phase with the current. So here we consider that current is going to get divided into two. That is, the IS is the sending end current that is getting divided into two circuits. That is, IL is the current that is flowing through the entire impedance of the line, whereas IC2 is the current that is flowing through the capacitance near the sending end. Here again, IC1 is the current that is flowing through the capacitance near the receiving end, and VR is the voltage drop across the load. That is, IC1 and IR is further getting distributed, that is from the current IL. So here when we see this phasor diagram, IL and IS, the summation of IL and IS gives us the current IC2. That is, summation of IL and IS gives us the IC2. That is, IL and IS gives us IC2. Or other words, we can say that the IC2 and IL constitute the total current IS. Similarly, IC1 is nothing but the summation of IR and IL. So let us consider this point as P. OP is the IR, and and XY is the drop ILR, and YZ is at 90 degrees again, and then it is 90 degree out of the phase. So IL into XL is the drop in the inductance. The total voltage, the total sending end voltage is represented by OZ, which is the vector summation of VR and the other two drops, that is VS. So now for simplicity, we are going to consider again only one phase, and phi r is the angle between the IS and VR. Now let's consider to calculate the efficiency as well as the regulation, we need to analyze this phasor diagram. So VR is taken as a reference phasor. Yes, here the corresponding phasor diagram is as shown in the figure, and this represents the nominal pi method phasor diagram which we have written to analyze the effect of the current and then the voltage in a medium transmission line. So the VR is taken as the reference phasor, and then the current IR is lagging behind IR by an angle of phi r, and then the current through the capacitor C1 is leading the voltage VR by 90 degrees because it is a capacitance, and the phasor sum of IR and IC1 give the phasor sum of IR and IC1 gives us the load current IL. Similarly, the phasor sum of IL and IC2 gives us the sending end current IS. The drop ILR is in phase with IL, whereas the drop ILXL is leading by 90 degrees. So now therefore the phasor sum of all these drops along with the VR gives us the sending end voltage Vs. Now the capacitor current IC2 is leading the voltage Vs by 90 degrees as we have seen in the phasor diagram. The phasor sum of Is and IC2 gives us a sending end current Is. Now after knowing all this, R is the resistance per phase and XL is the inductive reactance per phase, XC is the capacitive reactance per phase, C is the capacitance per phase, cos phi R is the receiving end power factor, cos phi S is the power factor at the sending end. Now as we know that VR is the reference phasor or reference vector, VR plus J0 is VR vector, so IR is nothing but IR into cos phi R minus J sin phi r. So now according to this, IC1 is nothing but equal to j omega into C divided by 2 because C by 2 is there on the either side. So j omega into C divided by 2 into VR. Again omega is nothing but equal to 2 pi f. So 2 j into pi f. 2 pi f in 2 pi f 2 and 2 gets cancelled, so we can straight away write it as pi f into C into VR. So we get the line current as IL is equal to IR plus IC1, keep this as equation 2, whereas the first one, the expression for IC1 is equation 1. So now IR is nothing but equal to IR into cos phi R minus J sin phi R plus IC1 can be written as what we have seen here is J pi f C into VR. That is, it can be further written as J into VR omega C. Instead of pi f, we can write it as omega again, VR into omega C divided by 2. So now sending end voltage is nothing but Vs, that is equal to VR plus IL into Z. Z is the total impedance of the line on the center. So keep this as equation 3. Substitute the equations VR plus IL into Z is nothing but R plus JXL. Keep this as equation 4. Now charging current at the sending end. So let's come to the portion where we are going to get the sending end current. That is IC2 is equal to J omega into C divided by 2 into Vs, that is J omega C into Vs. If omega is pi f, then it can be written as J into omega f, pi f into C into Vs. Keep this as equation 5. Now sending end current Is is nothing but equal to IL plus IC2. Now sending end current Is is nothing but equal to IL, that is current that is flowing through the entire impedance, plus IC2. So now percentage efficiency is nothing but equal to the power delivered at the receiving end and divided by power sent at the plus the losses. So power sent means power sent at the sending end. So percentage regulation, so it can be written as P divided by P plus 3 into IL square R. That is IL square R is the total losses. Since it is a 3-phase line, we are going to consider as 3 into IL square into R. Now percentage regulation is equal to mod of VR minus mod of VR, that is VR at no load minus VR at full load divided by VR at full load. So this is the percentage regulation, so it should be multiplied by 100 to get the percentage. For regulation calculation, receiving end voltage at no load can be calculated as VR at no load is nothing but equal to Vs divided by R plus JXL minus 2 into J into 2J divided by omega C into minus of 2J divided by omega C. So this is a simplified formula where we can remember that VR no load is nothing but